larger non-violent purpose of getting our independence. We've completely, we have completely mutilated our history, Sanjeev.
Absolutely.
We have mutilated our history. And now I want to, since you mentioned Aurobindo, and I go back to what we are unfortunately embarrassed about, but which is very relevant. Aurobindo, fascinating individual here. Aurobindo Ghosh, brought up as an Anglophile, broke away. You know, till a particular point, his father would not even let him read or interact.
In Bengali.
In Bengali, right? And he goes to Britain, he studies in Cambridge, and his story, but at some point of time he rebels against his father and he follows his own heart, and it takes him a long time to find his own roots. But through Aurobindo, I want you to speak a little bit now about the role of Hindu revivalism in our freedom movement. And the reason I'm saying this to you is because it's very easily said, oh, the RSS never contributed to India's freedom struggle. It's a sweeping statement which has been made. It is my contention, but you would articulate it better, that there was a significant role of Hindu revivalism in our freedom movement, because our Hindu roots can never be separated. It can never be separated from our history. I'm quoting to you here, Aurobindo Ghosh's Uttarpara speech of 1909, where Aurobindo Ghosh says the following: the Hindu nation was born with the Sanatan Dharma. With it, it moves, and with it, it grows. When the Sanatan Dharma declines, and if Sanatan Dharma were capable of perishing, with the Sanatan Dharma, it will perish. The Sanatan Dharma, that is nationalism. This is the message that I have to speak to you. You have also written here that many post-independence historians, in an act of misplaced secularism, downplay the importance of Hindu revivalism in the freedom movement in general and on the revolutionaries in particular. So we are faced with a very strange situation. You have these writers of history have completely blacked out the role of the communists, the Marxists, and they've also completely blacked out the role of the those who come from a Hindu revivalist tradition. Can you expand a little bit on this, the role of Hindu revivalism in our freedom movement?
So we discussed earlier about Swami Vivekananda,
yes,
and Dayanand Saraswati and the Arya Samaj and so
yes,
on. What happens here is you have here a character, Sri Aurobindo, or Aurobindo Ghosh as he was known then.
Yes.
He is faced with this crisis, particularly because of his father, who was essentially extremely westernized and, what we could maybe even call a collaborationist class, which had developed particularly in Bengal, but other parts as well, who had benefited under British rule and in fact wanted it to be perpetuated. They had basically become brown sahibs. And so Sri Aurobindo rebels against this. He refuses to join the civil service, even though he passes all the exams. And then he comes to Baroda, and he begins to build this new narrative. And he becomes quite a passionate Devi worshipper at this stage in his life.
Okay.
He wants to set up this Bhavani Mandir to create this network of warrior monks. And this idea is there everywhere. You see even Savarkar, when he starts out, he gives a pledge to his temple deity of Bhavani. And you see this same imagery coming through very repeatedly in all the revolutionary sort of literature, the terminologies they use. Even the song Vande Mataram, other than the first two stanzas, the others have strong amount of Shakti imagery. So this is an important strand of our freedom struggle. It should not be so very surprising because, large majority of Indians are indeed Hindu. The fact that they consider this country as their sacred land would not unnaturally have inspired their freedom movement. So I have no idea why we should be embarrassed about it. It's a factual, it's just a fact of history. And there is absolutely no reason to be downplaying it at all.